Today, I'm going to do a book review of The One Thing by Gary Keller. So I'm going to be entirely transparent. I listen to pretty much everything when I say I read. It's pretty much that I listen to on Audible. I do have an Audible subscription, and I use the subscription to the fullest. I get as many books as I can get with the subscription that I have, and listen to them quite frequently. I really enjoy self-help type books. Those are my favorites, especially ones that help you gain wealth and things like that. This book offers a very focused perspective on productivity and success. He's got, the general premise is there is a main focusing question, which is, what is the one thing I can do to, and then you insert your goal, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. The book is pretty much based around that. It is meant to focus you in on one target. The book is filled with so many gems. I'm not going to go over every single detail of the book, but it is filled with so many gems. There's particular, the first section was about 6 lies that we tell ourselves. That section really pretty much hit home for me. Some of the lies that we tell ourselves is about multitasking. I'm sure you've heard people saying, "Oh, I'm an awesome multitasker." Employees are asking if you multitask. People are putting that on their resume. I know I did. Multitasking is not effective or efficient. You cannot focus on more than one important task at a time. Think about if you're driving around in really heavy traffic or in an area that you don't know, and you're trying to navigate through busy streets or somewhere where you have no idea where you're going. Look at that next time you do that and notice if you turn the radio down. That is because you cannot multitask. When you're doing, things that aren't important, like, walking and chewing gum or walking and talking, that's one thing. But if you're trying to focus on something, you may notice that your talking stops for a second or slows down because you're trying to focus on something. That was definitely an eye-opener for me because I am all about multitask. If it's small things that you're not even that don't matter, such as watching TV and folding laundry at the same time, that is such small beans compared to what he's talking about, where you're trying to deal with important tasks. And I find this at work all the time. I'll be trying to focus on putting an invoice into the computer system or something, and the phone will ring, and I will just look at it and I will just get so mad because I know that phone call is going to take me away from what I'm doing. And then when I get done the phone call, I'm like, okay, what was I doing? It's hard to pick up where you left off once you get distracted out of that one thing. And multitasking, switching between tasks like that, I always thought it was efficient. I always thought it was a good way to manage a little bit of ADHD, where my brain is going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. But if you can focus on one task, that's your most efficient way of doing things. One of the other lies was about willpower, that willpower was on will call. When your willpower is pretty much like, imagine a battery bar on a cell phone or something like that, where you get less and less and less and less, and it starts out green, and then it turns to yellow, and then it turns to red, and you got to plug your phone back in, or whatever you have. And when you're trying to focus on a heavy important task, it takes almost all your willpower to focus on something like that. It uses up a lot of power. So one of the things that he suggested was to work on your one thing, your one most important thing, when your willpower is at its highest, when your battery is full. I have noticed that I am most productive first thing in the morning. So when I get up, I will do a bunch of random tasks around the house. I usually don't have a lot of time to do other things that, like, I don't have time to, say, work on making a YouTube video or other things like that, or editing or anything like that. I just don't have enough time to do those kind of things when I get up. But I do notice that when I do get up and I start doing stuff around the house, and I have my coffee, and then I start getting ready for work, most of the time when I'm on my way to work, I sit there and think to myself, I don't have this kind of energy when I come home from work. But when I go to work, I'm in the morning, I'm all go, 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 go. So I know that I can do the most important things or accomplish the most between, say, 5 or 6 a.m. and noon. And then afternoon, it's kind of like, okay, well, now I'm tapped out. And not necessarily like getting up early would necessarily take away from being more active in the afternoon, because once I'm driving to work and once I get to work, I don't know, I've found that even when I would get up at the latest minute possible and get ready to go to work, I would still be tapped out in the afternoon. So it for me, that's when I'm most productive, and when I have the most willpower to actually do stuff is first thing in the morning. So that was one of these suggestions, was to use that to your advantage. A balanced life doesn't exist. That is another one of the lies. And he suggests that you have to counterbalance the least important things so they don't get left undone. Because if you focus on the most important things, you're going to let other things slide and other things fall by the wayside. And it's okay to let things fall to the wayside a little bit, but you want to make sure that you keep up on them enough so that, you know, it isn't a huge, I guess the way to put it would be such as, if you're doing work and then you just do a little quick cleanups around your house every day, just do some quick cleanups here and there, so that in the long run, like at the end of the week, you don't have a big pile of stuff at your house that you have to take care of, and it's an entire day's worth of a chore because you've got laundry everywhere and dishes everywhere. That's how I kind of interpreted that. And you don't want to let people that are important to you to fall out of balance. Those are some of the main takeaways that I got from this. Multitasking is definitely my downfall. What I've been doing is putting my phone on focus mode, and that helps me to focus on the task that I have at hand. It keeps me from getting notifications and text messages and emails all throughout random times throughout the day, because that really does destroy my focus. And I mentioned that I tried to do the most important tasks in the morning, and I get up early. I don't work on business stuff too much, except for on the weekends. On the weekends, I can really power out doing business stuff first thing in the morning. One of the things with the balanced life is I need to remind myself not to let family, friends, and pets, Barlow, wherever he is, don't let them fall out of balance, because they're important. Whether you think about it or not, it's hard to explain what kind of things you can miss with your family if you don't have them at some kind of a priority. You might have a priority of doing your work as your most important thing, but your family and your friends and pets and things like that, they really do, they help get you through the hard times. So though, that's a quick overview of what the book goes over. I recommend this book for anyone who wants to improve their business, work life, and family life. He goes into a long list of focusing questions that you can use as an example, and it's not just about work. A lot of them are about family related, and for whatever matters most in your life, and to pretty much focus on one thing and how you can, by accomplishing something out of whatever your tasks are, the most important thing, how that's going to make other things easier, or so that you don't have to even do them. And I feel like the hardest part for me is trying to figure out what kind of a focus question I would even ask, because I'm kind of at the point of trying to figure out where I'm even going with what I'm doing. So it's kind of hard for me to even know what to even ask for a question. But I mean, I guess if I was to think of it like, what can I do to improve my relationship with my family? You know, and thinking about that, I was like, well, my parents always text me, so I'm going to try to text them first. Coming up with solutions like that. So this is a quick overview of the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller. It does have a ton of gems in it, a lot of stuff that really surprised me, a lot of things that make you think about what is most important, how to prioritize whatever your important thing is, be it your business or your family, or, you know, anything else, even a hobby. If you want to, you know, what's the one thing you can do to improve your guitar skills? You know, think of it that way. It is a fantastic book, and I recommend it for anybody that is interested in gaining more focus on the things that they really want to focus on. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next